Welcome to the Protein Bros podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. Her name is Hayley Lewis. She is a sideline reporter for the Kansas City Chiefs, but she also is very involved in the Kansas City fitness community. She's been an Orange Theory trainer. She trains out of TUF Club currently. On today's podcast, we get into her background as far as fitness goes, and we get into all the nitty gritty of what it takes to be successful in broadcasting. It was a really interesting conversation, not stuff that we typically talk about, but I thought it made for a great conversation, so appreciate you guys tuning in. Now let's get to the episode. There's nothing worse than when you're sitting up on like a tee box in like a really nice golf course and then you just literally shank one in front of a lot of people. You're like, I swear I don't do that all the time.
And you know they know.
Yeah, I know.
Like they're looking.
Everybody, I mean, dude, I play a lot of disc golf, which is embarrassing comparatively.
Turn around since we're talking about golf, you know, like
yeah, you gotta show off.
I'm a professional golfer.
There you go.
Show off all you want. All I was gonna say is that disc golf is like the same thing. If you're trying to like throw something for the first time, and there's like
Jeff's always got to throw on the disc golf every time we're talking about golf. The dick golf.
Dick golf. Dick golf.
I'm just gonna sit in this for a second, Kyle.
No.
Jeff's always got to throw in the dick. That's what you said.
Dick golf.
Yeah. So disc golf.
I can't play that one.
Yeah, you're like, I've never played that. Not often. Sometimes.
You guys play ball golf.
Friday nights.
All I'm telling you is that people just staring at you while you're trying to learn how to do something is just the worst case scenario. So it's like golf self-governs really well. Like either you're pretty good at it or you're just like not going to show up.
It's mental. It really is.
Sure.
Yeah. Every time you turn the camera on too, I was doing terrible. I'm like, this is usually when I'm good.
Yeah. Did you watch Full Swing on Netflix?
No, but the girl who was with us told me about that. She said you need to watch it.
So good.
I'm like, I watched the match last week. Does that count?
Yeah. There's guys on there. They're the best in the PGA, and they're explaining it. And they're like, it's basically like you have to be the most focused you've ever been, and then also not give a fuck. And you have to like get to that point,
right?
Which is a crazy point to get to, where you're like, I'm so focused on exactly what I need to do, but if I don't do it all that good, like who cares? Because if you get too tense, then you just suck. You know. It's crazy. Golf's a crazy sport. It's like
there's
sport.
Those shows like Drive to Survive, the Formula One one. That stuff's cool. That got so much popularity because of like you've done have you done the NFL Hard Knocks show?
I did. I watched in the beginning, but I haven't watched any of the recent.
You got to have like a compelling team. You know what I mean? If they're like doing the Colts, I just don't care. You know what I mean? Like, really though, who cares?
I cared when they beat us last season.
That's a good point. That was an embarrassing loss. Probably by far most embarrassing loss, but I honestly
went through that whole game thinking there's no way we're going to lose this.
There's no way we're going to lose this. Special teams found a way.
And at the end of the game, I was just like, holy shit, we actually lost that.
Yeah, that's a good point. All I was saying is that there's this like concept of like in-season reality show for the sport has really taken off with the Drive to Survive with Formula One. Like, Hard Knocks has already been there, but it's always just been through training camp, right? So, big plug for Patrick Mahomes' new show, Quarterback, which is the NFL's attempt.
When's it come out?
I think the 12th.
I think it's like in a week.
Yeah, like a week.
Literally in a week.
Nice.
And that's their first attempt at doing like an in-season documenting of someone's journey along the way, which has never been done. So especially with
they follow him the whole season,
whole season
through the Super Bowl
at home,
dude. At home,
personal.
Like his ankle after all that went down, like his rehab for that. I mean, his whole like I can't wait to like hear him on the sideline after that goes down because it's like serious.
Wow.
I think everyone's trying to figure out how they connected the three most interesting. Like, how would you ever put those? Oh shit!
I told you were gonna do
it. Called it. Yeah.
Damn it!
We all talk with our hands. You got to keep them out front.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got
Trump hands.
Yeah.
But you know how they connected the three, like just how would you ever find those three people in the same room?
Kirk Cousins
like,
and then
Marcus
Mariota.
Yeah. We all have the same agent.
Oh, is that true?
That's how we put it all together.
Oh, okay.
They all share, well, not the same agent for their main stuff, but they all have one similar common denominator, which is a person that they all work with. So I was trying to figure that out too for the longest time. I'm like, how the heck did they choose these three people? And I get Mahomes. Honestly, I get Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Mariota, like throwing that one in there.
You know what?
Is anybody wider than Kirk Cousins in the NFL? He's the widest person. when they put those chains on him and stuff. They're mocking him. I'm like, this is the funniest thing
But
ever.
the best meme there ever was how everybody's Kirk Cousins. Like, it's one of the funniest things in sports right now. How they're like Daniel Jones from the Giants. Like, he's just Kirk Cousins' little brother.
Everyone's a variation.
Everybody's just different Kirk Cousins is.
If you're white and generic, you are Kirk Cousins.
You're just that guy. You're just Kirk Cousins. And dude, like, I mean, we cannot wait to watch this.
Look at that. Look at that.
The little kids beat him for Halloween. I mean, dude, that's amazing.
Did you see Adam Schefter do that?
Yes.
Before, pre-game, shirtless on ESPN did that before game.
Jesus. That's cheapening yourself, Adam.
Yeah. Honestly, he looked a little less white than Kirk doing it, which is saying a lot.
That is saying a lot. Jesus.
It's interesting.
We'll see how it plays out. I'm excited to see for Kirk Cousins because it's like he went and did his thing that he always does, where it's like chokes under pressure at the very end when you really need him to step up.
Does typically
and
do
it's
that.
like, how's that going to go down as far as like the family life afterwards and all that? Because it's like, dude, on a 4th and 8, he throws a 3-yard check down and like completes the pass. And it was just like, well, that just was the only person you couldn't throw it to. Like, what happened there, bro?
How many kids does he have?
He's
not like Phillip Rivers, right?
I was
but he's like close.
He's not on Phillip Rivers level, but I think he's got like 4 or 5.
He's got a ton.
Yeah.
Luke, can we get your help there, please?
Yeah. Is
Kirk
he like
Cousins?
He's like Drew Brees, right? Drew Brees has got like 4 or 5. Oh, he only has 2?
What's up with quarterbacks?
No excuses.
I really thought he had a lot. Maybe he just gives off the Phillip Rivers.
I feel like quarterbacks are breeders.
Or they
You know,
say
like for
dadgummit.
some reason, it's like quarterbacks are always having so many kids.
Such a large
What's the deal
family.
with that?
I don't know, man. I would say that that's just a lot of professional athletes that just to have this ability to have copious amounts of intercourse because they're. I mean, like Adam.
It's a thing.
Let's just be clear on this. Who is it? Jackrabbit. Oh man, what's that dude's name?
It's
Jackrabbit Jenkins. Janoris
Janoris
Jenkins.
Jenkins.
Came into the league with 7 kids by 6 women. He was 21.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
There was
trying to get on Nick Cannon status, dude.
Absolutely, and I would say that Nick Cannon was trying at the time to get on Janoris Jenkins' status.
So other way around.
I'm like, that's the professional athletes are just fertile.
I don't know. I avoided teen pregnancy. I just turned 30. I avoided my pregnancy in my 20s, and I'm like, let's just keep it going.
You're like, all right,
let's keep the trend.
Yeah. Feel great.
Keep the streak
No
going.
dependence.
I love it.
All the money goes to me.
That's
So
awesome.
you actually have a fitness background too, is that right?
Yeah.
We are a fitness-based podcast here in the Midwest, and so we want to make sure we have that angle.
True.
You were a coach at Orange Theory Fitness, is that right?
Yeah. So I started my fitness journey. Let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
My dad's a football coach, so he was a coach. He retired. It's funny. He hasn't even announced this yet. He did retire, but he just took another job. So whenever that comes out, that comes out. But I grew up in a weight room. You know, we didn't have babysitting. Especially back in the day when my dad was in college coaching, you don't make the money you make nowadays. Like, you're not making $400,000 for being a position coach. And
Sure.
At the time when he was a GA and he had my sister, and then I came along, there was no, babysitting. So we just kind of grew up in the weight room, right? They'd just throw us in a corner and we'd hang out and watch my dad teach guys to lift. And so,
Did you relate with Hayden Panettiere from Remember the Titans?
see,
as a kid?
everyone always asks me that, but
You're a little blonde little girl, and your dad's a coach
Yeah.
at the same time as it came out.
every time everyone says that, though, I did not have her attitude.
Gotcha.
If I had even the slightest bit of her attitude, I would not have survived
You weren't
in my
talking
family.
back to grown men?
No.
As an 8-year-old?
I wasn't pulling in grown men by the collar,
Telling them what to
explaining them,
do. Yeah.
run the route right, stop messing up the jet sweep. So, but definitely I did grow up on the sideline. And so I got into fitness because at a very young age, my dad taught me how to weightlift, and I enjoyed it. It was also something that I was his son until my brother came along and ruined everything. And so that was kind of our bonding thing. And then I think that's probably the best attribute he gave all of us kids, was this desire to always be physically fit and put that at the forefront. It's also a really good outlet. You look nice when you're fit too, which is a bonus. Mm-hmm. But athletics was always a thing, and the weight room was always fun to do. So I got into that. A couple years ago, I got my PT certification just because I had a little bit of time to do it in between jobs. And then I've just continued to, on the side, kind of side hustle with it, right? Use it as my Botox money, whenever I need to be able to. So I do personal training now. And then, yes, I've coached at Orange Theory before. I've coached a couple of group fitness places. But you know how you have to have like a hobby that makes you money, a hobby that keeps you fit, a hobby that, damn, I'm going to do that. I'm going to knock this thing forever.
Told you. It's all good.
It's just my big muscles,
Yeah.
they're just
We're working
swelling.
on getting some different mic stands that aren't so bangable.
But yeah, fitness has always been an outlet for me. I love it. I will continue to love it. I'm so glad that was ingrained in me as a kid. And it's been a really fun thing to do when you relate to a lot of these athletes. A cool thing, when I moved here to Kansas City, I started working with a personal trainer, and then all of a sudden I'd be in the gym and one of the athletes I just interviewed showed up, and I was like, oh, cool. So now I'm working out alongside these guys, and kind of seeing the grind that they put in gives me a whole nother perspective to do my full-time job. So that was pretty cool, you know.
Yeah, the appreciation. Those guys work as hard as it
it's
appears.
Insane.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Where are you from?
I'm actually from here.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, so I grew up in Kansas City. I went to college in Nashville. I moved to Memphis for a little bit.
Vanderbilt or?
No, I went to Belmont, the school. Just as expensive, but sadly not as smart of people go there. My oldest sister went to Vandy. She's only a year older than me. She got a full ride. She is just extremely smart. And I was like, well, I want to go where you're going, but I can't afford to go there. And also I can't get in. So I'm going to go to Belmont. It's across the street. But I went to school there, and then went out to Oregon for one of my first gigs. I'd never been to Oregon.
That's a good market, though, isn't it?
Yeah, moved to Eugene, Oregon out of nowhere. Got to cover Pac-12 football. Went to every single, it was a small market, but they sent you to every single game. Was heavily involved with the Oregon Ducks. Got to go to the College World Series with Oregon State. Got to do that when they won. We also had a Final Four for Oregon, so a lot of cool things. I don't know if you follow women's basketball, but Sabrina Ionescu is a star in the WNBA now. She was at Oregon when I was there covering. Look how skinny she was back in the day. Awesome. So yeah, lot of fun.
Crazy.
That's how it started.
So say, but you also, you've been involved at the KU National Championship as well.
Yeah,
you?
Got to go to the Final Four. That was really fun. New Orleans, crazy city. That's always a good time. But going to, watch KU do what they did. And then seeing a kid like Christian Brown, right? He just wins the NBA
championship his first year.
And now he won the state championship in high school. Then he wins a Final Four, and then, gets a natty title in college, and now wins the
unbelievable
with the Denver Nuggets, and also their first win ever, which is insane. So that was really cool.
And he was a good role player. Like, he wasn't like just a dude off the.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he played good minutes.
The kid's a stud.
Yeah,
totally. That kid is definitely impressive to see what he's been able to do. But this is not his podcast or his hour.
That's right.
So, but yes, covering the Final Four was unlike anything else. But I think the Super Bowls are going to top that, right? In 4 years that I've covered the Chiefs, 3 of the years we've gone to the Super Bowl. 2 of those have been wins.
You get to attend those events as well.
I wasn't top tier talent quite yet, but I did. I got to go all the way up until the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, I stayed back here in KC each Super Bowl and covered it from home. Sure. But I did cover both the parades. Got to cover the draft. What was that? Just a couple of weeks ago. Nope. Not a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Months ago. It felt like this year. So usually the league year in the NFL, right? It transitions over right after the Super Bowl, a couple weeks. It did not feel like 2022 season was really put to bed until the draft was over.
Agreed. Yeah. Because all that
it was
lead
like,
up to the draft.
God, it was forever.
Big, build up to that. Then we won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And the Super Bowl, it's awesome that they win, but it completely shortens the off season for what's to come. Training camp's in 2 weeks, and I feel like there's been no dead time at all since
they just had the ring ceremony.
Yeah. It's been one thing after the other, and I guess we didn't really experience this because in the 2019 season, when they went on to win at the beginning of 2020, the world shut down.
Right. Yeah.
So we didn't do any of this right?
None of the fun stuff when you win the Super Bowl. Not going to the White House.
None of it.
Not getting a ring ceremony where it's actually like everybody's like elbows to elbows.
Right.
They were like out on the field the first time.
It's crazy to see that.
Couldn't go to the draft, obviously, back in 2020.
Do you think it will be a distraction for this upcoming season?
The fact that they won the Super Bowl?
Yeah,
or the fact that they had all these things going on?
Everything going on in the postseason or in the off season.
You would be lying to say that it doesn't play a little bit, especially because of the heightened attention that these players now get. Also, the fact that they are all under the spotlight for certain contracts and a lot of negotiations that are going on right now, and especially expectations going into training camp. So I think you ask them at the podium, of course they're going to say absolutely no distractions, like mental focus, locked in, everything.
Totally.
But they would be lying to you to not say that, honestly, there is a little bit that plays into it because it's heightened media requirements. It's just like the week of the Super Bowl. Like Coach Reed says it all the time. No, we're totally locked in, we're focused, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that the heightened media attention and also the things that the guys have to do during the offseason because they won is going to obviously be a bigger distraction, just like the Super Bowl, because you're here, you got more to do. Of course, it's going to add to
there's going to be some catch up, I think, in the training camp.
I think so too. Sure. I think so too.
Guys are going to come in a lot of shape.
Everyone's been having a good time. Travis Kelce,
Travis
dude, that man's anywhere but his house.
Yeah,
right. Like, does he pay rent? Is he ever home?
No,
probably not.
His new Bud Light commercial, he's got.
Oh yeah,
just threw that on.
So did that actually come out, or has it just been leaked on social media so far? Has it actually aired?
I've not seen it air personally, but it's just the backyard grunts.
I've heard a lot of controversial takes on that one so far. So
well, if I was Mahomes, I'd be like, dude, Coors Light. What's wrong with Coors Light, bro?
What happened? Yeah, like and like, why didn't Coors Light just like stop him from doing that? Be like, hey, stay here. What are we doing?
This is obviously the best duo in NFL.
But like Kelce doesn't even talk in the commercial. He just grunts.
Doesn't he just sit down?
He sits down.
Isn't that all he does?
It's Bud Light is like the official, drink of the backyard grunt of like the sit down.
Right.
Plopping down after a hard day's work and cracking a beer.
Official partners with the NFL, isn't it?
Of course.
I'm pretty sure we still have the Bud Light section at Arrowhead.
Yeah, they might call it Mick Ultra this year.
Yeah, they might change it.
It's all InBev. It's all owned by the same brand. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Not to mention, I felt like Miller Lite did something that was like supposed to be controversial too. It just didn't get as much flack. Yeah.
I avoid gluten, so I do not. I don't do any beer, so I don't keep up with the beer drama.
Are you a hard cider gal, or are you more of like a liquor cocktail person?
I'm definitely. I would say I'm a wino.
Okay.
I'm definitely into the wines.
Whites or reds?
So big time red. Pinot Noir is my favorite. Especially living out in Oregon, that spoiled me, man. All the wine was so
all the good stuff right there.
It was so good. Here we are on a Protein Brothers podcast talking about drinking wine.
We talk about everything.
Everything I tell my clients not to touch. I'm like, stop drinking wine.
Yeah.
Stop drinking all these sugary drinks. But here I am talking about wine.
It's hard. You gotta balance it. I try and refrain from drinking a ton, but then football season rolls around. It's really hard. Yeah. It's really hard to balance it during football season. It's probably easier for you because
you're also all you can drink at the Chiefs.
I don't usually. Well, that was the weird thing. A lot of us were talking about this, but when COVID happened, we're covering these games from home a lot of the times. And sometimes we have to talk to guys afterwards. Sometimes we have to be on just on interviews afterwards on Zoom or whatever it was at the time. And you're watching the game and you're like, well, I'm home alone. Might as well have a glass of wine. That turns into a bottle of wine. So by the end of the game, you're talking to the players on Zoom and being like, hey, how was your time? That was a really long
hit
throw.
Pretty hard out there.
I want to say like Kay Adams on NFL Network at the time leaned into it and was just like happily drinking mimosa on camera. It's just like, you got me at home. What am I doing?
Well, seriously, it's like, okay, my tweets are funnier. I'm not going to lie. My commentary's better. My questions are hilarious. And now this, it's really easy to do the one-on-ones with the guys when there's no nerves.
A little more comfort there, yeah.
They just want a game. You just down a bottle of wine. It's a perfect combination.
It's a good combo, yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So did you grow up always wanting to do broadcasting? Is Belmont known for?
No. It doesn't even have a media. I don't even think it has a media school there.
So how'd you get into it?
So you didn't major in broadcast journalism?
No, I have a business administration, or what is it? BA in business administration. I don't know what my degree is.
A bachelor's in business administration.
I started out actually as a vocal major. I was a classical voice major, which I don't freaking know why I did that.
I just got classical voice is in
classical voice,
like Audrey Hepburn, or like I don't know what that means.
Freaking opera, man. That's okay. So I was in all growing up. I was very musical. I was very athletic and sporty. Did every sport, but also really loved to sing. I don't know. It was a thing. I loved it. I was in musicals. I did acting and all that stuff when I was in high school. And then I got a vocal scholarship off of it and wanted to pursue that. So I went down to Nashville, Tennessee. Belmont is a music school.
Oh, you're going to be a country star.
I was like, I'm going to be the next Taylor Swift.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm going to be Carrie Underwood. And then I realized that unless you make it, you don't get paid at all.
No.
About a year into it, I realized it was more of a passion and kind of a side hustle fun thing than actually a career. Mm-hmm. So I switched over to business administration, which is still in the school of music because it was like a music industry business degree, but needed a degree, didn't matter what it was in. Started getting into sports broadcasting because I think it was my sophomore year. Remember when that second recession kind of happened after 2008, that like it was like 2011, 2012 when things started going bad again. My parents, who were helping me as much as they could, I was paying for my own school, but they were doing the Parent Plus, whatever. My dad was in between a job. My mom had lost her job, and they're like, we're going to need to figure out another way, because right now, like, a loan's not going to be able to go through or cover your junior year. So I'm like, okay, well, I have 2 years in the hole for a lot of money, so I need to figure out how to finish this sucker. So a sorority sister of mine at the time, because sororities weren't a big deal on campus, it was really cheap to be a part of. I was paying my own dues, and she said that there was this Miss America competition, and she's like, you can actually get $50,000 for winning Miss America, and they'll pay for the rest of your school. I'm like, I can walk in a bikini and 5-inch heels in front of my dad and act like that's natural.
Done deal.
So
easy, right?
Figure that out, easy money. And so I'd never done a pageant in my entire life. And when I was 19, I decided to look at that skinny mini back in the day, 20 years old or whatever I was.
So you were Miss Tennessee?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, Miss America if you won.
So I ended up top 10 at Miss America, which was great.
That's cool.
Miss Tennessee. So I did a pageant. I was a one and done. Like, I literally just did it. Somehow won Miss Tennessee by the grace of God. I don't know. It all came together. My dad and I kind of looked at it like X's and O's. Okay, you got to practice this. You got to practice this. You got to do this. I had the talent with singing, so that was easy. I had the fitness because I was already in shape, so I just needed to learn how to walk in heels. Weird. And then kind of put it all together. It taught me how to do this, right? Have a public speaking ability to be able to talk on camera, to be able to talk off the cuff, do all these interviews. And so that happened, and it happened real quick. And so the thing is, when you're Miss Tennessee and you do the Miss America program as a scholarship program, so you trade a year of service for a year of education. So what they did was they finished paying for my school. I had to trade a year of service. So I took a gap year and I did a volunteer year. I basically went to schools, hospitals, public spoke.
You were Miss Tennessee everywhere you went.
Everywhere I went. Had to do this whole year. I mean, I had someone who booked every single event for me. It was a lot of fun, you know. I never saw myself as like a little pageant princess, but my God, when you talk
legit
to those
celebrity
kiddos,
though, to those kids, right? I mean,
they don't care who you are as long as you got a crown on your head. They believe every word that comes out of your mouth.
That's awesome.
And it was just, it was really eye opening. It also taught me as little as I thought I had growing up, how privileged I was.
Totally.
And to go do that was really cool. I went back to school, finished my education. It paid for the rest of it. So that was a huge, scholarship blessing.
What an awesome thing to do. I mean, like, just talk about like character development too. Just
just learning about different people.
How many people would have quit right there? You know what I mean? In that scenario.
Yeah.
Been like, I'll just go work at a bar.
I was like, I'm going to figure this out. We're going to make it work. So went back to school, and then the head basketball coach at Belmont actually has one of those teams that they always make it to the NCAA tournament. They never get past the first round, but they always make it.
Like
so they're the good
seed.
Yeah, they're a good mid-major first four team. And so he approached me. He's like, hey, we're going to start a sideline reporting for Belmont. It's a smaller school. We're in the OVC at the time. And I'm like, sure, I'll be the sideline reporter. So Coach Bird, who is now in the Hall of Fame, kind of helped me get into that role. And I realized I could take my skill set that I already had in sports and the things I talked about at the dinner table all the time, with, the newfound skill set of being able to talk on camera, put those two together and kind of hit the ground running. And it took off. I found the first time I was on camera and did it, I was like, it was kind of like one of those aha moments. This is what I'm meant to do.
You're like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah, like this. There was no other feeling that gave me that high after that point.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got to chase that.
Do you still get that feeling now?
Oh yeah, you get a euphoric feeling. I remember after they won when they beat the Bengals.
Yeah.
Bro.
Freaking hate the Bengals, man. I hate them so much. Jamar Chase. Oh, I do not think I will never think Joey Cool is attractive, and that is because. I mean, the man is, but whatever. I can't because I hate the Bengals so much. So anyways, when they finally beat them and we were talking about all this stuff on camera, it's just like you go out there and you just say everything that's, building up. Also being a Kansas City native and getting to go through this and just see what the Chiefs have been able to put together. You get off of it and you're almost just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, you were a part of it. I mean,
Yeah.
100%.
Well, you grew up
like, whoa.
You're like me. You grew up in the Chiefs sucked for a big portion of our childhood.
They were never good until Mahomes came along.
We had like, Priest Holmes there for a while.
Yeah,
and that was awesome. But
Larry Johnson, always players that you could attach yourself to, but not the team success.
Yeah, we had,
but they could just never on all three units put it together.
Right.
And all of a sudden, it's like they had that.
Yeah.
And then you bring in Spags, and Coach Spags was able to overhaul the defense, and now all of a sudden, all three units are kind of firing on every cylinder, and it's like, this is a team. Like, this is a team that's coming for
you. All the right people.
You ever sit back and think like, oh, I'm doing sideline anchoring for, a generational team, because right now it's easy to think that we don't,
we're
in the middle.
Anchoring the Giants right now, you're like, I mean, they're finally starting to do something. But it's like, pick any other team. It's just been like, I mean, the Broncos the last 7 years. I mean,
it's just crazy when you actually think about it, because to think about what I was able to like be a part of. I didn't do anything. I would never touch the grass. I never was a part of, the game or anything, but just to be alongside the team and see and bear witness to what they've done has just been exceptional, because people just don't understand how long 50 years in the making to get to that Super Bowl, right? Mm-hmm. To win the Super Bowl, and then to be able to do so, go back the next year. It wasn't pretty, but I mean, they went back the next year. The next year, they're at the AFC title game. They lose that to the Bengals, and they're like, never again. And now we see this dynasty in the making. Is it a dynasty yet? I think that's maybe a little premature. It's going to be based off of what this next season pans out to be, but this to chase the history that the Patriots were able to put up with Tom Brady, and to be even talking about Patrick Mahomes at such a young age in that category is just insane.
Unlike anything anybody's ever seen. It's just it's never been done.
It's kind of weird that we're even talking about it.
Well, I feel like no matter what happens with our team going in the next, 10 to 15 years, we're going to be like Green Bay's been, where it's like they're always in it because they got Aaron Rodgers or before he got traded. But you know what I'm saying? Like for the last, however long, Aaron Rodgers has been in Green Bay, you can never fully count them out, even though that, there's been times where they had no receivers. Their defense sucked, it's like, but they still have Aaron Rodgers. So they still have a chance. And I feel like Mahomes is more of a winner than Aaron Rodgers. Like, so
Mahomes has the mentality.
Yeah.
I think Mahomes won't need to go to a dark hole in the middle of nowhere.
A darkness retreat?
And do a darkness retreat to figure it out.
Do some ayahuasca.
I want to do a darkness retreat, honestly. If everyone would leave me alone for however long, and I could
4
just
days
sit
of just sitting in complete darkness.
All I feel like I would do is I'd come out of that and be like, dude, I slept for 4 days.
Right.
Like, there's nothing else to do. Yeah.
It was phenomenal.
Like, what else am I going to do? I just slept.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. The Jets will be interesting this year. That'll be a cool game.
It'll be exciting to see. Oh, what you got there, Luke?
So,
maybe Kyle and I were there as well.
Is this the Miami?
Gets a good mustache I got going on.
He had a goatee at that time.
That's 54, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.
We got some other fun ones. There's us at a concert.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, we went to what was it called? I mean, we almost got on the field, Haley.
You look like Party Pat right there.
Drink it in.
If only we knew you, we couldn't get on the field. We had a guy
Jeff
on the
was
field.
trying to get on the field.
We had a guy. God. we also announced sports anchors as well. I don't know if you
look
saw.
at that.
Yeah, there was a time when
we were going to take your job.
Yeah, you guys were coming for me.
What I'm saying?
They tried to let us on the field. This guy we met before the Super Bowl. He was like,
I have a ton of confetti, by the way.
He goes, I'll call you. I'll call you after this. I'll be on the field. I'm going to get you down there. He's like, I'm boys with Kelsey. I'm like, sure, dude.
Sure, pal.
Sure, dude. He's like, I'm dead
you and
serious.
everybody else.
Yeah.
And we didn't do anything nice to this guy. Like, we had no idea why he was being so nice, right? So anyways, he actually does call. And he's like, we find him on the field. We're like, dude, he was dead serious. Like, this is going to be the best day ever. He was like hanging out with
Kelsey.
He walks up to this side. We don't even remember his name. He walks up to the side and he's like, hey, he's on the phone with us. And he's like, these two, and like, you got to have a wristband. You got to have a wristband. And I was like, what? And these two people were like, should we just bum rush and be like, do something about it?
Oh, did you?
I wanted to. He wouldn't do it. He had a kid.
Bro, I
have a kid.
I have a family. I'm not getting tackled and thrown in jail in Miami.
But I don't think anybody was. I'm like, dude, we had somebody on the field telling us that we're a part of the family. We need to go in there. I was like, that's my brother. You can't tell. He was black as night.
Oh my God.
He's like, dude, that's my brother.
Okay.
I'm like, hey, it was off Remember the Titans. I thought it would work. He's like, don't you see that's my brother? And so it didn't work. And 2 Remember the Titans references today.
Wow.
But I ended up getting, we got as far as like down to like the end where the security people are. And it was like, so I'll be ready next year. So fast forward next year.
Next year.
Go to Amazon, buy every color wristband there is. I brought them all. I brought every color wristband you could possibly bring, and I had them in my pocket.
He showed me this idea.
Watch them go to like lanyards next year.
This is how Jeff gets arrested. Right here, I'm looking at it.
That was this most recent Super Bowl.
Oh, we're doing orange today.
Yeah, he's like, okay. He's like looking at everybody that's important. Yeah, like, okay, I need an orange wristband.
So I started training at a place where Tommy Townsend and James Winchester was training.
Oh, okay.
And so I reached out to James and James's wife. I was like, hey, when they give you the wristband to his wife, and I was like,
his wife, by the way, is one of the sweetest people ever.
Dude, they're so sweet.
Such a good family.
The Winchesters in general are just gold people, solid gold. And I said, hey, could you just please send me a text of what color it is when you get it? And she's like, dude, I got some bad news. She sends me the picture, and it's like the new fabric wristbands with like the bead. It wasn't a classic like concert wristband this year.
There's no way you're getting in.
I was like, I could do a red one, and like I'm like, no way. It was like a shoelace. The width was off.
See, you can't outsmart the NFL, man.
I tried several times.
They are always so sneaky with how they do things. The security too. Sometimes I've almost gotten booted off the field before Arrowhead, and I'm like, the security guard's like, "No, she lives here. Like, let her in." I'm
like, "There's a camera following her." Like,
I pay rent here. I live here so much. Like, let me in. But yeah, as the NFL takes over, because in the beginning it's always the Chiefs, but once we go to postseason, towards the end of postseason, NFL takes over. So the rules change, and so they get pretty antsy.
I keep getting the chills. I don't know if I'm like freezing right now or what, but
you better not be
getting sick. So there's a history. I've snuck into both Super Bowl parades, and I rode in them.
Oh my word!
But I didn't get into the draft because the NFL security, comparatively, like you were saying,
I'm telling you, when the NFL takes over, they're intense
on their shit.
Yeah.
And I was really close too in the NFL draft. I was like, I have a golf cart. I was pulling right up. I had like a...
Oh, my word. You had the golf cart down there?
Yeah. That's how I got in the parade.
You don't want to see the first...
How did you get your golf cart in the parade?
Well, he lives
Where were you at the parade? Because I was in... Like, I've been in both the parades inside, and we pull players.
You're on a bus, though.
No, I'm not on a bus. I'm on the street. So, yeah, I get golf carted from station to station.
Behind you.
I might have given you a ride.
You might have. So I have a cop with me, and we hop on a golf cart, and I'm taken from station to station because there's like a little, basically like this with a camera at the end that comes over, and I have to hop on it to get to a camera, and I grab whoever's walking. So if it's like Kelsey or if it's Mahomes or it's whoever, it usually is never those two because they are just...
Yeah,
plastered
and getting hounded
as they should be. Yeah, I mean, they deserve it. But you just grab guys and you're interviewing them on the way.
How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Yeah. Please don't cuss. Please don't cuss.
Yeah. I legitimately could have given you a ride.
You might have.
In this recent
you might have been my security detail, and I didn't know it.
At the 6th and Grand, I did give somebody. They're like, "Hey, I need to get down."
Oh my! And you're a random civilian, and you're on this parade route.
Now hold on, listen. He makes a sign that says some bullshit.
Is this past the statute of limitations?
I don't know.
Can you get arrested?
Hold on. I thought he was going to get arrested for like 10 things that he's done in regards to us going.
We're outing him. The police are going to be looking for this man.
I don't. He's as undangerous as you could make a person, but.
I'm pretty dangerous.
Yeah,
but he is going to try and get a golf cart in every parade. That's for sure.
So the NFL, they actually use a lot of people from the FBI and from the federal bureau.
Dude, if you got the official NFL draft golf cart, this is mine. And I just put that sticker that I had.
My god!
The guy that said "Welcome Hayley Lewis" on the sign on the TV here.
Oh, don't implicate him in your crimes.
Hold on.
I would just like to clarify, I had nothing to do with this. I had no knowledge, and I did not play part in this.
I actually
Please don't pull my credential.
I do not encourage any of these
I'm going to lose my NFL credential.
Yeah. I tried to find a picture of like the golf cart in the parade, but it's nothing different. I mean, like, it's just a white golf cart.
No, they're all little generic golf carts.
Yeah, and I live downtown, and I drive a golf cart everywhere because if you live downtown, it's really nice to go around where it's legal.
Where do you live downtown? I live downtown. I've never seen a random man.
Well, you'll be looking for him now.
Like Fred Flintstone rolling through.
Let me just be clear on this. Golf carts blend in really well to everything.
Apparently so.
So, like, you see people driving around with, like, the maintenance golf carts downtown all the time, right? For, like, power and light.
Do you do that?
Yeah, but mine has a utility cart in the back. I mean, like,
you didn't even clean the street.
Hey, let me be clear with you. We went to college together. He's been driving a golf cart in places he shouldn't since we were like 19, for real.
Where'd you guys go to college?
Missouri State.
I knew it. These are Springfield thoughts.
Yes. Yeah.
That is
a little white trashy, you know.
The truth is that everything's more fun on a golf cart.
That is true.
When you're driving on a golf cart, it's always a good time. And
we have been hammered many a times driving through Kansas City.
Power and Light downtown is closed all the time. As you know, like Grand Street's just blocked off everywhere.
Yeah.
But you know
so
what gets
you
through
just
right
yeet through it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
At all times. And you know what? People will like open the gates for me.
And with a bulldog?
Yeah, so that's golf cart. That was golf cart era number 2. That was my second one. Yeah. But bottom line is it works, and it's really convenient. We go to dinner on it all the time.
Do you own a car?
I do.
Okay, just checking. I didn't know if you golf carted here.
Oh, hey. It went in that actual video.
Oh my word!
But you know what's funny is the front of that golf cart. It says River Market District.
I was about to say,
which is like where I lived at the time, and so it just made it look
up
official.
the street from where you just
Yeah.
I don't live up the street from there. That's not where I live.
Yeah. I live in the area right next to the River Market, little neighborhood by Garozzo's Italian.
Wow,
it's delicious. Yeah, delicious spot. It's a great spot to live by.
What a journey!
Yeah,
I feel like we're interviewing you about the golf.
All I can tell you is the next parade, I'll give you a ride again. It might have been you. Like I said, I had to give a ride to a gal at the top of the street, and you're like, they're like, I need to get down to the other end, like down by the actual entrance to the Power and Light District. That's where I dropped this girl off, and
it could have been. It could have been. I mean, I was all up and down the street, so I don't know.
When you,
that's amazing.
So like when you get your first job in Oregon, is getting a job as an anchor, is it basically purely like who you know, or do you send in an application? Because it seems like it's got to be a highly sought after job.
Yeah, it is. It's a hard industry. So for that particular,
to be clear, you had experience though.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like there's probably a lot of experienced people that are trying to get the same jobs.
You have to differentiate yourself from people who have all had the same credentials as you, and you got to pop off the paper, right? Pop off your reel and all this stuff. And I think for me, I remember doing that job, and I have always told young women who get into this, kind of field and industry, just be very open to the idea of criticism and rejection, because I, after college, applied for 80 jobs.
Wow.
4 called me back. I had 4 interviews, and then I only got an offer from 2, and one of them was Oregon.
Nice. And these markets, these are like, so from my
experience, a starter market.
Yeah,
I had no idea
what
I was
going to ask. Is like these everything goes in the broadcast journalism world. There's like market number.
Yeah.
Right?
So 200 all the way down to 1. So that was market 114. So the closer you get to 200, the smaller it is. So I went from 114 down to like 30, which is Kansas City.
Which is a huge jump.
Yeah, which was a great jump, especially Kansas City has now even gotten further.
Yeah.
I got to come home. I got to, cover the teams I grew up watching. I got to be able to see my dad coach, which has been really cool. I've never had the freedom. And I also my brother was playing at Drake University at the time, so I was able to see some of his games too. Cool. So that was really cool.
What sport was he playing?
Football.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You got in a situation now, like, was that the dream job for you? You know what I'm saying?
I think to a degree.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Where do we go from here? You know what I mean? Like Erin Andrews, is that like the person that you want to be like?
I remember actually talking to her about this because we were on the sideline together for one of the games, and she made this new clothing brand, which I've done a lot of things for the clothing brand that she started for women to get more women to understand and like the NFL.
What's it called again? It's great.
It's called Wear by
Erin Andrews.
Yeah, basically EA.
And it's really like, I would say, like,
it's like stylish,
fashionable.
It's NFL clothing that women would want to wear because it looks cute. And
100%.
It's also comfortable, and it's something that basically trying to get, hey, you don't have to wear a jersey to the game.
Correct.
Like you don't have to to be a part of a man's sport or man's world, you don't have to dress like a guy. Like you can wear what you want to wear, what's comfortable, but makes you, feel good too. So I was talking with her about all this stuff about, career things and everything. And no, I respect the hell out of Erin Andrews. She is top tier, in a class act and just an amazing talent, but I don't want to be her. Totally. Like I want to be me, and I want to showcase that, and I want to showcase the different things that I bring. She's someone who continues to break the glass ceiling for women like myself. But my next thing, so I finished up my contract with the station that I was at the end of right after the draft. So kind of like mid-May is when I finally officially left. And so right now what I've been doing is freelancing. And so I've done a couple of freelance gigs for ESPN and basically freelancing for different networks like Fox, CBS, and different things like that, which it is wild that in freelancing, do 2 gigs a month and you make your salary and more in local TV. Like it's drastic the amount up that you can go, but also you have to be able to have the street cred, the gigs, and everything to be able to do that, right? Yeah. So you have to put in the time, you have to put in the effort, the years, because no one's going to pick you up unless you're that random person who happened to be like a, assistant at ESPN and built your way up through that. So that's when it's all about who you know.
Yeah.
But you have to, I always tell people, if you're happy and satisfied doing anything else in life, go do it. Mm-hmm. This is not the industry to pick up as a hobby or something that you just, I think I like it. No, if you like something else, you'll probably make more money and be happier and mentally stable in life. Like go do that.
Totally.
Like you have to be okay with people tearing you down 24/7, constantly have an opinion about what you say, what you do. And the funniest thing to me is when people understand and learn that I'm actually a coach's daughter and that I do know the X's and O's and that this is something that I can really talk about, you get mad respect for it. But until they know that, if I even on this podcast happen to just like mispronounce a name, idiot, she doesn't know football.
Yeah.
It's like, well, okay, the dude on the radio just mispronounced his name, but he's a guy, so you just think like, oh, he just stumbled. It's fine. He knows what he's talking about.
Totally.
Yo,
it's like, no.
Yeah.
Give me the same respect. And I get it. I didn't play the sport. I didn't play it down. I get it.
People derive their like self-worth off of what they know about a sports team. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, she doesn't know.
There's the unhealthy attachment.
I know more than she does, and it's like,
the good thing is,
chill out, bro. You should probably get a different hobby or
you didn't play in the NFL either,
you didn't play in the NFL, man.
Yeah, I'm not a passionate fan on the. Get out of here, Luke. Luke's over here pointing at me. I'm like, dude.
First of all, Jeff does know more about the Chiefs than anybody I've ever known, and I grew up the biggest Chiefs fan ever. And he'd be like, "Oh, dude, he played for the Chiefs in '85. You didn't know that?" And I'm like, "What?"
I wasn't alive. Sorry,
like, bro.
I love sports, all sports, but I would just say that like it's sad. I think when I like watch that happen, where it's like people will disrespect a professional who like worked their entire life to get to this point,
or like you say, just write you off.
Right, write you off over something so minimal, but it's just to make themselves feel better in that context, right?
And it is what it is. You deal with it, and the cool thing is like there are super fans who do know everything and anything about it. But are you someone like I respect the hell out of that and that you're able to do that, but why don't you go regurgitate that and do it on TV live on demand and then go ask players
totally different
questions.
The man in the arena.
Like you really think you can put that into perspective? Cool.
Yeah. You've heard of the woman in the arena in this scenario.
Yeah, basically.
It's just no one cares what the stand. If you're in the stands, you're in the stands for a reason.
And I've encouraged people.
You'd hear a critique from Aaron Andrews. You'd hear a critique from somebody else, and you'd listen, and you'd love to hear it.
People find a problem with everyone for any given reason. At the end of the day, you can't care too much. But I always offer people, I'm like, you can have my day's salary if you can show up and do it better.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally come to the station, come do it. Come write the script, shoot the thing, edit it, make all your facts, and then do it off the teleprompter, and then be able to ad lib about it. And if you do better than me, have my check.
Is there a freelance opportunity that would really sound interesting to you that we should maybe see that you're going to aim for?
So right now I'm trying because of health insurance. I'm trying to get picked up full time because I'm not married and I'm older than 26. So that's been one of the biggest challenges of turning into a freelancer is kind of figuring out all those little things that you don't realize when you're not in a salary job.
Sure. Yeah.
It's figuring out, it's like, okay, I know it's going to be really busy during the football season, but now that we're in the summer and I have these certain gigs lined up, I have to make my budget off of that, of what I know, not what I'm banking on getting. And then it's a new world and I'm kind of getting used to the adjustment of that. But this has the potential to take me to be full-time on ESPN or something like that, which is the ultimate goll.
Do you have an agent that you work with for these opportunities?
Yeah. So I got picked up by a network agency, which was really a really big deal. About 8 months ago, I picked up by If Management. So if you ever look them up, they have some top tier talent with them. And I was so shocked that they even wanted to talk to me.
Awesome.
I had to fact check the guy was real. I was like, wait, did you mean to call me?
Yeah.
Like you want to talk to me? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
Congrats,
Appreciate it. So, I mean, but a lot of the footwork has to go into it. And I remember when I was applying for the job here in Kansas City, I again applied. I had a 2-month gap in between. Well, it ended up being a little bit more than that, but I applied for so many positions, had so many interviews. And again, it just takes one person saying yes to you. So be so comfortable being rejected. It's the world of communications that does not communicate. You get a job and 2 weeks later, like, hey, can you move across country? We need you here in a week. And you just do it. So when people are like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. Yeah. But we're going to figure it out. And it's fun. And, it's a fun way to live.
Have you always been like kind of unemotional when it comes to like criticism, or is that something you've had to build over time?
Some thick skin.
I mean, I grew up in a coach household, right? So we were taught to take your feelings, bury them 6 feet under the ground, and then stomp on the grave a little bit more. So yeah. I don't think we ever, which is probably why I'm in therapy. Kind of and kind of not. I kind of need to talk about these things.
There's some things we got to deal with a little bit here.
But yeah, I think the biggest thing with that is that it really does. My dad did a really good job of helping remind me that it only truly matters what you think of yourself, and the how you speak to yourself is the most important. How you look at yourself is most important. I am so mean and cruel to the person that I once was, and that was where I really had to make that mind shift of like, why are you so evil to yourself? Yeah. Like, you have got to stop that little, person in your head from telling you that every single day. And then when I made that switch mentally, it's like everything kind of just rolled off my back. Yeah. Now, I would be a liar, and I'm not going to say that certain things do not make me tick still to this day. Mm-hmm. And I think that the only reason that certain comments always hurt a little bit is because you at some point in your subconscious believe that there slightly could be the truth in
Right.
Yeah. Those are the ones that sting where you're like, ooh, I used to think that about
dude,
myself.
I was working really hard on that. Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, that brought me back down. But it was a strong suit of mine, and I think it's just gotten even better. But in this industry, if someone says something crappy, you can't let it get to you. You can't be, and maybe that's the reason I can't cry. So again, why we're working on showing emotions and getting better.
Like, getting better.
We are growing, but yeah, to a certain point. Well, there's
positives and negatives to it. You know what I'm saying? Like the positives are that
mental toughness is good.
Yeah. And, I think that growing up with a dad that's a coach, coaches are always the most direct people to you. There was no like fluff. It's like,
but it comes from love, which is good. So,
but you need
clearly,
that. Honestly,
it's. I would say it shows really well how much, you had some really loving parents.
Sure,
it's obvious in the way that you speak.
They're good people.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that when somebody's direct like that, even though it might feel mean in the moment, those a lot of times are the most like the people that care about you the most.
Sure.
Because the people that dance around and they don't tell you the truth, those are the people that suck. You're like, dude, if I've had this problem for that long and you haven't told me, then like you're not a good friend.
This is prime example of when I was playing club softball as like a kid. My dad was like, "This isn't your strong suit.
Yeah,
you're not that good. I don't think you're improving. We might need to hang it up.
Yeah.
Let's find something you're actually really good at." And a lot of parents don't do that. They just let their kid continue to pour into something monetarily and time-wise that they have absolutely no business being in. Instead, it's like, no, let's look at what your kid has.
And it's shaping their self-esteem.
Yeah, your kid has a wonderful skill set. Let's find it.
Yeah.
Let's not force them into a box that, maybe you didn't finish in high school. Like let's
well, that's because your dad
living yeah, she's inferring we're living through our parents.
Yeah, let's go off of our skill set.
A lot of people they live through their kids vicariously.
Yeah,
it's like, I was good at baseball, you should be good at softball, and if you're not, then I don't feel good about myself.
Who tells you you're crap at times?
Yeah, I agree.
Like, and also keeps you humble, and then also keeps you on your toes, So and makes you do that. I'm lucky to have normal parents for the most part.
For the most part.
This next stage, as far as like, I'm just super intrigued because I didn't know that you had left the previous station you've been on, and now we're
literally recently. So that's all new.
It was a huge deal in the sports broadcast world for me, at least for my familiarity, when Kay Adams left and went and did her own thing. Right?
She's killing it, isn't she?
I think.
I think she's doing phenomenal.
I'm assuming FanDuel gave her a ton of money to at least make that jump. You know what I mean?
I like that she has more freedom now too. She can do what she wants to do.
She is her own person.
Yeah,
for sure.
And she's talented.
Totally. And
she's very talented.
She seems to know the X's and O's really well. She loves the Bengals. We don't like that. We don't like that at all.
It's unfortunate.
Why is it not liking the Bengals personal for you? Get really serious here. What did Jamar Chase say?
Well, it actually stems back to, I was talking to a guy at the time.
I knew it. It's personal.
Who liked the Bengals, just was all about it. And it just infuriated me. It just made me so mad. And it happened to be the year that they beat them back to back to back. And then they had two in the span of, the 1 year, because it was in January technically.
That sucked. It was in the same year.
So after I stopped talking to, I posted that, and I was like, boom. A feeling you will never have.
What a phenomenal
I should have put an at.
Adam, that's amazing.
But also on top of that, the trash talk, the stuff that they would say, their fans got such a big head, and I'm like, bring it down to earth. Also, Pat who? Jamar Chase saying that, I'm like, it's tasteless. And at least the Chiefs, when they talked so much trash on the Tennessee Titans back in 2019 season and were able to hold Hendry under 100 yards, and then they come out here and they're able to do what they do, and they, basically not Burrowhead and all that crap. That was just under my skin for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
Being a Kansas City native, and then also the fact that...
Well, they also had that mayor that came out and said that. Oh, he ghosted you? Is that too? This is double whammy.
This is so painful, right? Ghosted by a Cincy fan, man. Trash.
Oh, this is trash. Also, Cincinnati has just sucked for a long time, too. So it's like they got Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and now things are...
I don't hate the competition, though. Yeah. And I don't hate the Bills. I actually really like the Bills. And
the Bills was the best game that I've ever seen in my entire life. When
the 13-second game? Yep. Oh, I was there. And so we can't cheer, right?
Yeah.
We can't cheer. So I'm up on press row, and
you're not allowed to cheer.
No cheering allowed in the press row, no cheering.
You wouldn't have been able to stop me.
You get kicked out if you cheer. You 100%. Can't clap.
I got kicked out.
You can't whistle. You can't do anything.
You just grab people.
Yes. So I have a video of me, actually, I think I posted, and it's just basically a video of me I was like, I know it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. So I put up my phone. And all of a sudden, after 13 seconds, they march it down. They send it to overtime. And then Harrison Butker made the kick to tie it up, send it to overtime.
A tough one,
and then I think it was the pass was it to Kelsey in the end zone, or was it to
Kelsey?
It was Kelsey in the end zone. Mm-hmm. And that was the touchdown in OT. I just was like, oh my God.
Like,
and that's all you can say. You're just
after that. Like, we had to win.
That's what made the next week the worst.
And that was the divisional game, wasn't it? Because then they lost the Bengals next.
Cincinnati.
But man, it felt like they won.
It was all that ad-libbing shit at the end of the first half when Mahomes threw it to Tyreek instead of just like throwing out the back of the end zone, kick the field goal.
God, dude.
Jeff
turned to me and he goes, dude, we just lost that game. And I'm like, it was halftime. I was like, what are you talking about, dude?
Too. That was a rough game.
We were up 18 points at the half, and we got greedy there for that touchdown. And I looked at Kyle and I said, we're just going to lose now.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're fucking... I was like, you're an idiot. I was like,
we're allowed to
dude,
cuss.
Okay, I was like, he just said that.
No, we were fucking up by like 18 points. There's no way that we just lost because he missed
got the ball at
swing
half.
route to Tyreek.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I seriously, that was one of the moments where I'm like, it's over. Like this, we thought we were going to continue going, and here we go again. Like it's just back down.
And like exactly what we're talking about is like Patrick got away from like what we do and how we do it, and he like ad-libbed. He thought he was Superman in that moment. He threw it to Tyreek, and Tyreek was like the fifth option on that play, and he's like, I guess I got the ball now, and that
was a tough game to watch. But yeah, so that's the thing that people don't know is that when you are in a professional setting, like you can't no cheering at all, and you can't react to things. You know
after the game, is it cool? Like how does that work?
I mean, no, you got to get through the whole thing. You got to get through locker room. You got to get through podium. You got to get through your one-on-one. You got to get through your post-live shots, and then it's like,
does that change the experience for you?
Oh yeah, because I remember after the AFC title game, just this past season, it's number one, it's like -10 outside. That might be a little dramatized, but it was so freaking cold. I couldn't feel anything. We're out there for hours, and then we with like the post game running around trying to interview as many guys as we could. I go over to the camera and I'm like, I can't move my mouth. Like it's just so frozen solid. I run inside. One of the guys, he's a special teams assistant. And he actually coached with my dad and knows him from way back in when we were in Trenton. And I walk inside. He's like, Lewis, are you good? And I'm like, boom. And I just hit the floor. I passed out because apparently I had my knees locked out there and it was so cold. And then I go in there and all of a sudden all this blood just rushes to my head. And I pass out. I wake back up and I'm like, did I miss podium? Like, I got to get to the podium.
You're like, oh my God, so what just happened?
And it wasn't until after I was like scooping up confetti on the field that I was like, oh, wow. Like, this just happened. Yeah. Like, this, it makes you emotional. Like, that was actually one time that I got emotional afterwards. I was like, wow, we really did that. This is my last game at Arrowhead, too. And I knew it. I hadn't quit yet, but I knew it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is wild.
Yeah, that is
crazy.
Like what a game to be your last game.
Yeah, I was like
the Burrow had my ass game.
Well, I thought they were gonna lose. I really did. I had a bad feeling about it. I'm like, the mojo is not there. And then
we didn't get the that back and forth at the end when Burrow had the ball and Chris Jones got the sack. You know what I'm saying? That like infamous.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
they had like that 3rd and 26. Right. Oh,
that's amazing. Me watching it from. That was I think was that the COVID year or. Also, I have on pants before I have to go on air because I'm so cold, and then all of a sudden I turn so hot.
Airing yourself out. I love this.
It's so stressful. It makes me ill.
I can only imagine, dude. I thought we were gonna lose that game too, man. I mean, honestly, the Super Bowl when Mahomes went down, 57.
Oh my gosh.
My girlfriend and I were there for that one, and
what
it was
a game.
I was just like, oh my God, like baby, this is like the worst thing ever.
That was stressful because also I'm so pumped for the Eagles game this year.
Oh, I know.
It's gonna be
it's
so
gonna
good.
be so good.
It's gonna be so good.
Cincinnati on New Year's Eve.
Oof. There's a lot of juice coming out this year.
Yeah.
I'm excited for a lot of things on the schedule this year, but the Eagles game is going to be amazing. Jalen Hurts, props to that dude. He was far more talented than I thought he was.
Absolutely, they played out of their mind. I was like,
he had like the second best game you could possibly have for a quarterback in the Super Bowl history. I think.
So impressive, and just like the way that they were able to. Just the way that they're able to go back and forth, and then the way that you saw Andy Reid time management. What did he call it? Church mode is when Jerick McKinnon slid down at the 1 yard line, and they were able. And people were so mad about it, but I'm like, a win is a win.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah,
win how you got to win. I don't care if it's pretty or flashy. Also, Nick Bolton should have had 2 scoops and scores. The whole crap about him not having forward or didn't make a football move, so it doesn't count as an or they called it an incomplete pass.
That was such BS. Yeah.
Ooh, that made me so mad. But anyways,
we needed that too at that time too.
I'm revisiting. We watched the Super Bowl on Father's Day again.
That's amazing.
That is a good. I wanted to.
Is your dad coaching still? Did you still coach around?
Yeah. So he. I don't. The only reason I'm not saying it is because I don't know if he's told anyone yet. I don't know if he said it publicly. But he got out of the coaching business and now he's coaching again at a high school in KC.
Exciting.
And he was out for 1 season. My mom told him to go get a hobby. He didn't, and now he's back in football. So he can't stay. He loves the kids. He is just so invested in raising up more.
It's such a fun time too to do it. You know what I mean? Like that high school. I mean, me and him both played football in high school, and I think we can both agree that it was a very formidable years for us to just be men of character.
The cool thing is I've shared my dad with a lot of people, and a lot of people have over the years reached out to me and said, like, you don't understand how much your dad was my dad at that time. Like my dad would drive to, miles and miles away to pick up a kid in the other county so that they had a ride just to get to football practice at 5 a.m. in the morning. And he would do it without a thought, making sure all his players were there. And, he's a good dude. Very good guy, and has been more influential not only in my life but just in a lot of kids who needed a role model like that. So I'm happy to see him happy because it just makes him happy being on the field.
How old is he now?
He is 58 now. He'll be 59 in September.
Tons of good years.
Tons
of good years left.
And he's that dude who thinks he's 20. Like he's still fit, he's still buff, he weightlifts every day. And every time I introduce him, people are like, how old is he? No, he's not that old. I mean, we just built a deck last weekend together. So, like,
nice.
We are always doing things. I mean, he kicks all of our butt in sports all the time. So, he's like that dad who's good at everything. You're like, why don't you just lose once?
Yeah.
And he's like super competitive and then doesn't let you win on anything.
Oh, yeah. No. No soft wins. Nope. I want to earn that win, too. The day I beat my dad, I want to earn it.
To let him. Yeah. That's awesome.
It'll be good.
You're in another stage now where, like I said, you got this like freelance opportunity. Yeah. This is all like new to me too. The NFL this year for the first time is doing broadcast rights to whatever individual game the network wants to pick up, which is like the craziest thing I've ever seen. So like AFC is not on CBS, Fox is not on NFC. It's just whoever wants it, and it's gonna be so weird to watch an NFC game on CBS.
Right.
And then you just do whatever you want there. Does that affect who is going to be the broadcast team?
Yeah, it's switching around everything.
It shook up the entire industry.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Did you see all those ESPN layoffs that just happened? Like a lot of big ESPN layoffs. Yeah.
I was about to ask you. I
only pay attention to PTI. I only watch Michael Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser.
Okay, then it wouldn't have affected you. But basically, they laid off. One girl had been there for like.
Look this up real quick.
Susie Colbert's not on, is she?
Yeah, she is.
She got laid off.
Yeah. So she was there for, I was trying to think how many years she was there.
Since 1992.
Ashley Brewer, who is phenomenal. She actually came out of local TV in LA. She was just recently with them. Yeah, exactly. That's some big names, right? Jalen Rose, that was another big one.
Oh my gosh.
Jeff Van Gundy.
Their podcast. I mean, what's his show that he had?
Remember, he was always on with Molly.
Jalen and Jacoby, though.
Yeah. But in the morning, he was on that one show originally with like Molly and a couple other people.
Oh my gosh. What'd she say? 20 years, it was a good run. So for 30 years.
She is like a pioneer.
Jeff's heartbroken.
Right?
Me and Susie are cool.
Well, she was at the draft, and man, that girl's got it going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ashley Brewer also was laid off, and she's a phenomenal talent as well. But and she's like getting married next week. I'm like, could you guys have planned it a little?
Could you guys give
more
him
convenient?
Could you give him a break?
Yeah. So there's a lot
the story behind that? Like, is there
a lot of moving and shaking? Right? They're looking for certain things, new ways, and now that the market is also. I mean, we just saw Threads come out 2 days ago because Twitter is being a complete a-hole and like not letting us view a certain, which is completely unsafe for people who follow on Twitter for certain public safety announcements. Oh, she's your girl. She really is.
Look at her looking at me, dude. I can't even get her to look away. Susie Colbert and me, dude. I'm like trying to have a shot. Susie Colbert can't stop staring. This is a classic.
I remember.
He already knows the picture.
I remember. Jeff was sending her.
I send her some subs.
No, you send her some nut butters.
Oh my god!
Fun fact.
By the way,
that's just actually true.
I did intend to send her some peanut butter. Yeah. She was a fan of the protein peanut butter we carried. Yeah. She was at my brother's wedding, anyways.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Her,
I mean, why?
Unbelievable, right? Yeah.
Can you explain? She's her cousin.
Yeah. So my brother's new, wife. So my sister-in-law's mom went to college with her, and they were at the U.
Oh my god!
During the heyday of the U.
Well, there you go. Yeah, Random.
The 30 for 30. They
You're
were there.
Basically blood.
Basically. Mm-hmm. It was a great time.
You can't date your cousins, right?
No, I mean, I'm from Missouri.
I was about to say we went to school in Springfield,
this is West Virginia.
Yeah, it wasn't by blood. Anywho, Susie Colbert, I'm sorry, I gotta reach out to her. It's super sad.
Yeah, but basically, things are moving around, right? So the way that things are going to look this next football season. Also, the expansion of different conferences in college ball that happened officially first on July 1st. Bringing in new people to Big 12 and taking out of SEC and all that. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy how things are shaking up. So
and just in the mediums of which it's happening, right? Because it's like I would have never thought that, like you would have never thought that we mentioned Kay Adams already, but just FanDuel TV even being a channel, right?
Yeah.
And they just started a channel, and you could have a YouTube channel, and that could just be how you talk about sports, right? You know what I mean? And
like Pro Football Focus is doing a TV channel basically now, and everyone. Does anyone actually have cable? Doesn't even have cable.
I mean, no.
Everything's streamed. I stream everything. YouTube TV, everything is streamed.
But it's going to come back. I feel like it's starting to come back to it because now you want to have so many, like with the Paramount, with all the different options.
They're trying to consolidate and find a way that you can do that.
Bringing it back to cable where it's like, just buy this one DirecTV thing and you'll get them all.
$160 a month.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
One time I was just paying $8 for Netflix and that was it. And then I was just like YouTubing stuff.
Most of the sports content I consume is all through YouTube now.
Same.
So it's like
I just do YouTube, Hulu Live. ESPN is through Hulu Live, so
right. Hulu Live seems to be like the best value. I do YouTube TV right now, but I probably should switch because you get the free
Paramount.
ESPN Plus. Right?
Yeah. So and then like Disney, people are throwing all that because ESPN and Disney are owned by the same, and ABC as well. So it's just like all of it's becoming so accessible to the way in which local TV, that's why local TV is on its way out because no one watches it anymore. Right. And it's not.
And it's actually difficult to find.
That's the thing. Like when you're actually looking for the generic channel because this like Saturday Night Live is on, like or Dave Chappelle has his final thing, like you're trying to actually find what Channel 9 is. It's actually hard to figure out what it is. So the way people consume is completely different. Now we have all these channels. Now we have all these podcasts. Now we have Twitter Spaces and everything taken off, and people just finding different ways to consume media. So it's anyone's what am I trying to say? Basically, anyone can do what they want to do. And if you jump on it early enough, maybe you'll find the new pathway to do it.
Because of your unbelievable like comfort behind the mic or in front of a camera, have you been getting a lot of I guess requests in the sense of like from like MC standpoint for like philanthropic stuff? Like I figured you'd be like the host of things, local. You know what I'm saying? At least just a lot of requests.
Right. It's definitely been it's been weird, like having the time to do things too. I've never actually had the ability to have weekends off and have access to that. I'm like speaking at a Rotary Club for Kansas City next week, and then have something we're doing with St. Jude's in the following couple of weeks. But yeah, it's been fun to actually have when people are like, hey, can you be the, for the Big 12, we have a thing coming in town. Can you actually be the person who sits at this, and hosts and does the MC stuff and actually gets to join in on that. And that's been really cool because I've never been, also when you're in a station, you have a non-compete. So you can't do anything. Like you can't do anything that's not approved. Also on your social media, you can't make money on social media. So you can't do any sponsor posts. You can't. Yeah. So now all of a sudden I can do like all these sponsor posts. I can take money for doing reels. I can do paid promotions and commercials and things I was never allowed to do. So I feel like all those new revenues are opening now, and it's like.
Do you have any current partners you want to announce? Do you have any partners?
I don't have. I mean, no partners that I've specifically like locked in with. I've done like different things for like local KC stuff. But yeah, it's been interesting. I signed like I was doing something with BioSteel, which the Mahomes are very involved with, and now BioSteel is. I work out at TUF Club, and so BioSteel is going to be an official sponsor now for TUF Club, which is really cool. But it's been fun. It's been fun to like. I didn't know I needed all that. Now I have an agent who finds that stuff for me. I'm
very
like,
cool. Jabari was on this podcast as well.
Yeah, that's what he was telling me. Yeah,
legit. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. So I trained for. I'm one of their trainers, so I trained for them as well. Jabari was my trainer.
I was gonna say he personally trained you for a while.
He destroys me, and he has been my trainer for almost 3 years now, and that's kind of how I got into TUF Club with him, and now I do training there. But what he's building is so phenomenal. It's gonna be insane.
Yeah.
Did you know that we'll be selling product there as well?
Oh, are you guys?
Oh, so the front area on the right. That's
boom.
Intertwined.
We brought him to Summer Smash a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he was there. We saw we had Chainsmokers,
yeah.
Rick Ross. And he like went to Rick Ross's house for something.
Yeah, I remember I ran into Jabari.
Jabari just knows like everybody.
He does.
Yeah, man.
He does.
Yeah.
We ran into each other at the Atlanta airport because I can't remember, I had a connection there to fly out for a game, and he was flying back to KC. I'm like, what were you doing down here? And he's like, oh, I was just at Rick Ross's house. I was like,
your impersonation was really good too. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't see you there. That's weird.
Like, what floor were you on?
Yeah, exactly. Because we were on different wings of the house.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's good people. That guy has something special for sure.
That new gym opening, I'm pretty excited about it.
I'm pumped.
We're supposed to go look at it this week.
Hopefully by the end of July, we'll actually be working clients out of there.
Right.
Worst case scenario, or early August, but it's going to be really cool. So
very cool. I only have one last real good question for you, and that is just simply. You have no, like, right now, the shackles are off. You can do whatever you want.
It's nice.
Yeah.
I can say, like, bad words. I'm not gonna, but I could.
Yeah.
You can be on a podcast where the hosts are talking about illegal things.
Yeah. I know. Literally, like, before, I'd have to, like, get off this podcast and be like, you're gonna have to cut that
out.
But now I'm like...
Yeah, whatever.
Cool. It's like, I can't get in trouble now.
I was like, I don't know who I did, but there was actually like somebody, like a staffer for Kansas City in some capacity. I had to take them somewhere.
That's
and
wild.
It was hilarious. Yeah. I was like, that's how a part of the parade I was this year. Anyways.
Oh my God.
You have all this freedom. And so what I would ask is, you know, do you have some kind of a blueprint of exactly what would be like your dream job moving forward?
Yeah. So my dream job, obviously, like I want to be on a network full time, but what I want to be able to do is have the, like how KABS has that freedom to make it what she wants to. I want to host. I feel like that's my skill set, is just being able to bring in people, have interviews, have conversations like this on air. I feel like this is my strong suit of just talking, chopping it up, being able to be personable. So I think that's like my full time, is be like, hey, and I'm just going to say, because everyone knows what ESPN is. Like ESPN hires me on to do a full-time show where I'm sitting there and it's like my show, right. And I'm the one who hosting it, and I'm bringing in different analysts, and we're talking, and we go through from social media all the way crossing over to X's and O's and having analytical conversations. That would be like the dream.
So those are my favorite shows.
You would cover all aspects. You know? Yeah. So the social side of things as well.
See, I think that's interesting because a lot of fans of the game, like they might, I mean, yes, there's a time and a place to be analytical, but there's, I mean, so many people who consume and enjoy the game love the game because of all encompassing factors.
Yeah. Totally.
And they like the fact that, oh, Mahomes is doing so well on the field because he's also doing this with Bobby in the gym, and that's why it's happening. And also Whoop is like playing in by putting on this certain, you know, basically performance enhancer to see how he's being able to do that, how he can better perform. Mm-hmm. The fact that you find out that he puts a strain on his heart of running a marathon every single time he steps on the field. That's wild. That's the stuff I want people to know and talk about. Also, what they were wearing on the red carpet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Fashion.
Yeah.
Fashion
so it's
football.
Like all encompassing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fashion football fitness. Should I be hashtag?
Yeah.
Brand it.
There you go.
Don't steal my content.
There's your YouTube channel or whatever.
There you go.
You know?
But yeah, you never know. I mean, it develops how it does, but that's definitely the goal, is to stay in this business. I love it. And wouldn't trade it for the world how it all shakes out. It's definitely not easy, but it's a lot of fun.
Do you follow any others that really like trailblaze in this sense? I know we mentioned Erin Andrews, but like who do you look up to? Who inspires you as far as how they do things?
I mean, I definitely think that she's hard to beat as someone who is able to put forth just such a good product and then be able to back it up. I also think Tracy is a phenomenal person as well. She actually was someone, Wolfson, started in, teeny little woman, right? And now she's on CBS Sports and she does everything on the sideline, but she started in rodeo. She started at 28 and she had never, ever been in broadcasting. She was always on the opposite side of it. And she's like, I really want to be in front of the camera. And now, she works alongside Tony Romo at every single game and is doing these things. And then,
there's Pam Oliver. These are all the names that I know of in the ladies' world. So Pam Oliver.
Okay.
What about?
Who does a phenomenal job as well.
For sure.
Wasn't Pam the one who was the game that Jamar Hamlin went down?
Jamar Hamlin, yeah.
She was the one who had to do that broadcast on the sideline.
Absolutely brutal.
That was incredible how she did that and handled it as well as she did.
The entire team, I felt like, did such a great job. But
without also spreading misinformation, right? Like not over analyzing, saying just more than they knew.
All we can do, and Susie Colbert, I think, was also on that one.
She might have been.
That was the longest
halftime show. Yeah, it was halftime show.
30 minutes?
It was like the most anticipated game of the season at the time. It was like
because we were going to try to figure out who the Chiefs were going to eventually face, right? The Bills or the Bengals,
right? And I was going to say that the female that I truly like was, I felt like, transcendent in this industry, who was the first to kind of bring her real personality into the show, was Michelle Beadle. Do you remember Michelle Beadle?
I don't.
Look up Michelle Beadle.
I'm sure I would
I think she was the first person to do it. Was it Around the Horn? Was her show? And somehow she was so popular. She was so popular that she was like the first person to get hired away, I think, for like FS. Like Fox Sports.
Yeah.
But Michelle Beadle's first show, like, dude, she had all kinds of personality. She got to do her own segments. It was nothing like any other, and she was the absolute host of the show.
I think Laura Rutledge does a really good job of that too. Kind of hosting and being able to bring a personality. It might have been called Sports Nation. Was that what it was called? It used to be like, dude, it was the show that I watched religiously. Very cool.
Yeah. But Michelle Beadle, like, she got paid a gazillion
Run it back
to Sports Nation, 2009 to 2022. That was her show. I have no idea what she's up to now. I haven't heard her name in like 10 years, but I just remember watching her show thinking like, dude, this girl's awesome. Had all kinds of personality.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are killing it in the industry. And now I love the fact that you don't have to fill a certain persona.
Right. It's like
you can be who you are.
The female was only on the sideline, only with a mic on the sideline. Was like, and then like for her to host her own sports show.
Never adding more than that,
And like, she killed it. So we have an honorary question we ask every single guest. Do you got any more?
I don't know, but this is a not important question, but it's something we ask every.
Well, I like to think, in fitness, people, if you are tracking and so forth, and you're always like, being mindful of your diet, you also love to eat food.
I like food, yeah.
Okay.
Do.
What's your favorite kind of food?
My favorite kind of food?
Yeah.
I love sushi.
Sushi's good.
Are you psyched that Blue just opened up downtown?
Oh my God, it's perfect because it's just, right? Hop on the streetcar, take it. I could walk.
Have you ever thought about a golf cart? You could get a golf cart.
I could get a golf cart.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves and walk.
But in this heat, no.
Sundays
I get all the way there.
Happy hour,
I love Blue Sushi. It's so good. Also, the Woodside location is so slow and it takes forever. That's why I like the P&L one. I feel like
the service
moves a little quicker. The service is great. I just think it takes a lot longer. And I don't know why. I think it's all perception, right? It's just, and so I just feel like it goes really, really quick. I'm trying to think what Prime Sushi on South Plaza and Prime Social have,
I haven't had Prime Social. Great.
It's good. You paid $17 for a roll, but like it's good.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Get a nice view.
I'm like not above. I say this all the time. I'm not above like Sam's Club sushi. It's pretty good actually.
Dude, I'll take sushi however it comes.
But do you like? Sushi. So we've had a handful of guests. You can imagine Jabari's answer was phenomenal for this. But barbecue. Do you enjoy it?
I do enjoy barbecue.
Okay. What is your go-to spot when people are visiting in town? Because like you have so many that will come to town and ask you where they should go. Where do you tell them?
I always take people to the Jack Stack at the Freight House.
Yeah.
That is mine. Only the Freight House one. I'm like, not Plaza, Freight House location. I have always loved Jack Stack. I remember I said that one time to someone, and they're like, "Oh, we have that kind of money." I was like, "No, Jack Stack is not that expensive.
Extremely affordable.
It's not that expensive. It's just like, but Jack Stack is number one for me. I do like Oklahoma Joe's. I'm never in a million years going to take the time to actually go to the original location. It's always just easier in Olathe or somewhere out there.
Yeah.
I like Q39. It's fine. Slaps is amazing. But yeah, definitely Jack Stack.
Wow, she kind of shit on Q39. It's fine.
It's not my favorite.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite.
Jack Stack is good.
I'm not above it. I mean, dude, every single thing
Slaps
you named off is great.
Favorite.
Barbecue is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had a bad barbecue experience in Kansas City. I've had plenty in Memphis. Yeah. I've had plenty in Tennessee. I've had plenty in Texas, but not here.
Yeah.
Love to hear that.
Love to hear it.
That's a great way to end it. Appreciate you being on the show, Hayley.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Find you? So if they're interested in getting a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you?
Which, by the way, I didn't even realize we ever started. We just kept talking, and I was like,
we'll do an intro.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, we'll do an intro.
Since we've never met, we thought that'd be the greatest way to make it more comfortable. It's just
it just rolls.
Just let it go.
Or just BS.
We'll do an intro later.
There you go. I'm on social. It's at Hayley Lewis _sports.
Hayley spelled unique.
HAYLEY, because I had to be different, apparently. So that's my name. I'm on Twitter, now Threads. So just downloaded that.
Jeff's telling me I gotta check
as
out
well.
Said, dude, what are you gonna do about Threads?
I'm loving it.
I'm like, bro, I don't know.
What makes it different from Twitter?
It's unhinged. There's no rules. It's not professional. So some people
it
are
is
tweeting
Twitter though, right?
Some people are tweeting just the same way that they did on Twitter.
Yeah.
Other people who have never been on Twitter since 2010 just hopped on Threads, and they need to learn Twitter etiquette.
They're just like,
I'm like, this is unhinged.
What's the Twitter etiquette?
Spewing all their thoughts.
Twitter in my
characters
world,
on both.
Yeah, it's. I actually don't know.
That's a good question. Is Threads like 141?
I don't know.
Just to piss him
off. Just to piss off Musk. I don't know. But basically, Threads is just a way that anyone and everyone can say whatever they want. And a lot of people are treating it just like they did on Twitter, where it's more of like work-related, different things. And, oh, wow, 500 character count.
Wow.
Who has 500 characters to say?
Bro, I'm not writing an essay.
I'm not either.
God,
Alex Ramosi had a really good one this morning, and it was cool because he's like, I could barely sleep. You follow Alex Ramosi at all? Just a really good professional development guy. He said, well, I certainly slept poorly last night. Got to savor this sweet moment in time when there's no bots, no scam accounts, or ads.
And he can read as many as he wants.
And he goes, and every post makes me feel like the first time you tried ice cream. He goes, so many threads, so little time.
My screen time's going to be like way up this week.
Someone posted their screen time, and it was like Instagram 1 hour, and it was like Threads like 5 hours.
Oh God!
And I was like, really? It's like, what are people even saying that's even interesting?
They were showing that like agents during the NFL draft, their screen time is like 19 hours a day.
Oh, I bet.
I'm like,
oh, Jesus.
That's a lot.
That's a fun stat.
Okay. Mine's like 8.
We want to do another follow-up podcast with you, Hayley, once you land on wherever it is that you truly want, so we can talk to you about that and talk more about just the backstory of all things that are happening. Yeah, because no one knows those things. The behind-the-scenes stuff's fun.
I know.
Totally.
Now you know.
Now we know.
There's the tea.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for coming on.